the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences 25th Annual Academy Awards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking west.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel once again. I got a juicy video for you guys today. I am going over my Oscar predictions of 2020. Woohoo! So this year is like the first year that I'm actually like really into the Oscars and movies and who's gonna win. I've been watching a lot of Oscar nomination predictions and Oscar winner predictions, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and articles about who's going to win, who's not going to win, who has the most chance of who's going to win, all the politics behind different movies, and things like that of that sort of nature. So I just thought, this has been back in my mind of making a video about, what would I say? Who would I think is going to win? So before we get into it, I just want to go over these are movies that I think are going to win. Okay, I may add some movies that I wish are going to win. I may add that my little own opinion that doesn't really mean much. All of these are going to be movies that I or people that I believe are going to win simply because of their caliber, skill level, if it's the person, and then the overall quality of the movie. So this is all Oscar predictions that I think are going to win, not based off of my own opinion, but based off of not necessarily facts, but more of, research and things of that nature. And also another thing, I haven't seen all the movies that I'm predicting to win. So I haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari, but I've heard that they may win in some categories, but yet I haven't seen it, so my opinion or my thought of them winning may be discounted at that point. But I've done the research, and I think that my educated guess on who's going to win is backed up by evidence, not evidence that needs to be backed up by me actually watching the movie, if that makes any sort of sense. And also, I will not be going over every single little category, because I think it's just boring if I just went over categories that I have no idea who's going to win. I've never heard any of the movies. It's not like animated short film. I haven't seen any of those, so I'm not going to just do that. So I'm just going to do the categories that I like, and the only categories of the movies that I think that are going to win in that category. So really, if I'm just talking about it, it's just for me that it's just worth talking about. Okay, after that really drawn out and weird intro, let's just get into it. Starting with visual effects, I think Avengers Endgame is going to win. I know that within the whole pool of really, really good movies that have nothing to do with cinematic universes and superheroes, they gotta at least give one. And if it's gonna be one, it's gotta be Avengers Endgame. Next is film editing. I believe that Ford versus Ferrari is going to win. I've heard a lot of good things about the editing in this movie. I know that the other movies in this category are Best Picture nominations, and Ford versus Ferrari is also, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about Ford versus Ferrari and their editing. I also heard a lot of good stuff about Parasite's editing. That would be a good runner-up, but I think Ford versus Ferrari is going to take the cake on that one. Next is cinematography. I took a class on cinematography. At one point in my life, I thought I wanted to be a cinematographer. So I kind of get where these movies are coming from. I kind of get why these movies are nominated. But to me, I believe that The Lighthouse is going to win with that different kind of aspect ratio and all being black and white, and with the camera angles that they had to use with inside and outside and lighting with different shots with only 2 actors on an island. I think they did a very good job with different coloring, and the cinematography for that movie means a whole lot different to that movie than the cinematography in other movies, if that kind of makes sense. Next is sound editing. I really do not know much about sound editing, I'm going to be completely honest with you, but what I do know is that Star Wars movies always have really, really good sound and sound composition. So I'm going to have to say that Star Wars gets this one, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Really, if you just put on headphones or earbuds, or you just close your eyes watching this movie, you are just immersed in the world, honestly. You don't even have to watch it. You don't have to know the plot, but as long as you hear it, it's a really good, interesting sound to Star Wars movies because of all their sci-fi and action. Next is sound mixing. Still, I really don't have much verticality on sound mixing or sound editing, but from the things that I've heard, I'm going to have to go with Ad Astra on this sound mixing. I do believe this is the only Ad Astra, or one of very few Ad Astra's nominations through the entire Oscar nominations. And I know that if this kind of movie is going to be put in sound mixing, it has a very, very large chance of winning. Next is original score. This one I'm pretty certain about. Is Joker by Hildur Guðnadóttir. I'm a stupid dumb American. I have no idea how to pronounce your last name. I am so sorry. But I do believe that she's going to win because I know the score has a lot to do with the movie. The score drives this sort of movie, and I've heard a lot of things about the reviews, and they always said that the sound and the tone and the mood of this movie are all driven by the score. So that's just my prediction for score. And then original song, I can almost guarantee that Into the Unknown from Frozen 2 is going to win. I know there's a lot of talk behind the song I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman, and also from Toy Story and, the other nominations. But I think that Disney, they have two nominations in this category, and I think that the better song is Into the Unknown, and I actually really just like that song, so I think that's who's gonna win. Next is animated feature. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have only seen one, and that's Toy Story 4. I have not seen Missing Link, Klaus, I Lost My Buddy, or How to Train Your Dragon 3. But from the amount of excitement that I saw on Twitter from the nomination of Klaus, it's just unprecedented. I think it's just overwhelming. I think that Klaus is going to win over these other movies. Because of the excitement for this movie being nominated, I do believe that Klaus is going to win. Next is Best International Feature Film. This is 100%, no doubt in my brain, going to go to Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. This is 100% going to win. This is pretty much a 99% fact that Parasite's going to win. Nothing else to say about that one. Next is original screenplay, and now this one is really, really interesting because this is the first category that I have of two movies that I believe are going to win. I'll start with the runner-up. The runner-up for this one, I think, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino got a bunch of nominations for Once Upon a Time in this whole Oscar year, and I think that this original screenplay is really. I saw the movie, I thought it was really good, but I know that's not everything behind how original screenplay gets nominated or even chosen to be the winner. I just think Once Upon a Time is a good runner-up. The one that I think is actually going to win is Knives Out by Rian Johnson. I love this movie. I love everything about it because it was just so original. I think everybody can get behind that, and this is one of, I think, the only, or if not only, but very few nominations that Knives Out got during this Oscar season as well. Knives Out was just a really, really good movie. It was so original. It was so Rian Johnson, and I really like this movie. So I do believe that's who's going to win. Next is supporting actress, and this one is really hard to nail down because Florence Pugh and Little Women got so much recognition, and that's going to be my runner-up for this. But I think Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit is going to take the cake on this one. Nothing against Florence Pugh, absolutely nothing, but I think that Scarlett Johansson has had herself a very, very good year in movies, in Jojo Rabbit, and then Marriage Story, and then the biggest movie of all time, Avengers Endgame. I think that they're going to give it to her, although Florence Pugh has also had a very, very good year. Again, it could literally go to either one of them, but I think it's going to go to Scarlett. Next is supporting actor, and that is almost 100% going to go to Brad Pitt. Yeah, I don't know why. I think there's just so much talk behind Brad Pitt actually getting this nomination. I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I just don't understand why, but I get that Brad Pitt, he's coming to the end of his career, and, people just want him to win. Next is Best Actress, and I am going to go with Saoirse Ronan. I'm sorry, again, I am a dumb American and I have no idea how to pronounce foreign names, but she depicted Jo March in Little Women, and I think that she's going to win. I thought she was very good in Little Women. I really liked her performance, and I think that is going to go over top of, again, Scarlett Johansson's performance in Marriage Story, but I think that Little Women as an overall movie and performances within that movie, and especially Saoirse Ronan, I think she's going to take the cake on that one. Next is Best Actor. This is pretty much going to go to Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix's depiction and portrayal as the Joker / Arthur Fleck in the movie Joker was just so good. Joaquin Phoenix is such a good actor, and this is such a good role for him to play. I don't think that he took it just because that he could get an Oscar nomination, but I think it's because that he knew and everybody else knew that he could portray the Joker in such a way that is so moving and so raw and so unsettling that it overshadows the other nominations that are in this category. So I think that Joaquin Phoenix is definitely going to win that one. Next is Best Director. This is the second to last category that I'm doing, Best Director, and this is a really, really hard one because all of these movies that these directors directed are really good, and I think that it's hard to distinguish whether or not what they are nominating these guys for is like, obviously they're directing. Is it because of the quality of their film? And it's just like a whole lot of that. But I think that honestly it's a tie. For me, is Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese, through my Oscar predictions, hasn't got anything for The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino is going to get some recognition also this year for Once Upon a Time. I just think that these guys are basically tied in this. If either of them win, then heck yeah. But the other directors in this category, literally, it could go to anybody. And I honestly could be completely wrong about all of my predictions. But I think that with the Best Director, I think that's going to go to either Quentin or Martin. Finally, we made it to Best Picture. Here we go. There are 9 nominations for Best Picture. I think that it could be literally any of them except for Ford vs. Ferrari and Jojo Rabbit. That is not a knock on either of these movies. I just believe that there wasn't a lot of commotion behind Ford vs. Ferrari, and I don't think in liberal Hollywood they are going to give the trophy to Jojo Rabbit, where Hitler is a main character and basically Nazi Germany is completely made fun of. I don't believe that Jojo Rabbit or Ford vs. Ferrari have a very good chance of winning. So besides those two, I think literally any of them could win. It's really hard because this is the hardest one that I had, nailing down. I have no idea who's going to win. Could be Once Upon a Time because of Quentin, and then it also could be Little Women because that was a good movie, and a lot of people like that movie. Irishman, some people say that's Martin Scorsese's best movie. Joker had so many Oscar nominations, and who knows if that could win Best Picture. I heard a lot of good stuff about Marriage Story. 1917 was a really good movie, but I think gun to my head, it's gonna go to Parasite. Parasite was such a good movie. It was so much. I can't put any words to what I felt during this movie. It was such an interesting movie. The tonal shifts were perfect. The acting was perfect. The story was so original and well thought out and well acted and well portrayed. Honestly, even including Ford vs. Ferrari or Jojo Rabbit, it could be literally any 9 of these. But I think, gun to my head, again, I think Parasite is going to take the cake on that one. Thank you guys so much for watching / listening. I had a lot of fun doing this. I know this is a kind of controversial topic that people don't really want to talk about, Oscar predictions and the politics behind different movies and what people are saying and who's going to win, who's not going to win. But honestly, those are just my predictions. Again, I think that Parasite should win in almost every category. I don't think Joker should have been nominated for so many categories. I think The Lighthouse should have been nominated for more categories. If I went off of what I wanted, I don't think it would have been fair. Again, thank you guys for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below. Who do you think is going to win in these Oscar predictions and these different categories? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.